Good morning. We are at day 11 of our 100 days of community. And I am so excited about this. The feedback has been wonderful and amazing. And I am enjoying showing up so much. Um, as you guys know, it's now locked in. So it's just the paid subscribers. And if you know somebody that would be interested and they cannot afford it, you let me know. Email me at scholarships@DesireeBStevens.com and happy, joy to comp the year. Morning, Mia. So, on today, day 11, what we're going to talk about is how supremacy culture disconnects us from rest. Today is Friday, which is my personal day off. Why I choose Fridays is because the kids are at school, right? Um, the world is at work most of the time. So I get to have a day off that allows me to actually not have to worry about childcare too much after I shuffle them off to school, not hustle and bustle of the weekend when everybody's off. Good morning, Mia. Good morning. So I choose Friday for my day off. This is essential. One, I've been watching SVU for 20 years, okay? It comes on Thursday nights. I watch the replay on Friday when I'm not going to be disturbed. I usually order some food. I'm in the bed. So, like, after this and after I post, that is what I'm going to do. Well, I'm going to go do my nails. I got up this morning, cleaned up the room from the massive, like, shifting of clothes, went and cleaned the truck, dropped the kids off. I'm here spending time with you guys. I'm going to post, and then that's it. That's it. I'm going to figure out what I'm doing for lunch, do it in the bed while I watch Law and Order, and I have an appointment at 2 o'clock. Usually, I don't even make the appointments on Friday, but it was essential for today. I say all of that because you have to take the space for rest. It is important. If you don't, and I recognize that Friday is a privilege, but even if it's a Saturday, a Sunday, whenever you're off day, even if it's an hour, 30 minutes, you must prioritize that rest. So here are our 3 talking points for today. 1, supremacy culture frames rest as laziness. Huge thing to unpack and dismantle. 2, rest as resistance and reclamation. Yummy. This whole entire season of Self has been about reclamation. I'm reclaiming everything, right? Like good Auntie Maxine said, I'm reclaiming my time. My time, my energy, my money, my stress, all of the things. I am reclaiming it and calling it back to me so I can have more to give to my immediate community, my home, and then the outward community. Good morning, Janine. 3, creating community spaces for rest. So, I'm always talking about home being your first community. Do you guys lounge around together? What does that look like, right? Can we do things communally that just requires nothing? I'm one of those friends that's like, come over and let's lay in bed and watch TV. Sometimes we just ignore each other. I love being alone together. So that could even happen. Thanks for taking time on your day off with us. Oh, yes, it's my pleasure. Honestly, this is my joy. This is what I do. I love community building. I love being in community and I love helping people get to it. So, the joy that everybody's feeling because I'm getting all of the inboxes, text messages, and emails, I honestly feel when it comes down to, I'm like, oh my God, I get to go live today and talk about community. So thank you for taking the time out of your guys' space, day, and everything to sit with me, right? So let's go to number 1. Number 1, supremacy culture frames rest as laziness. Supremacy culture glorifies productivity, hustle, grind, and disconnecting us from natural rhythms of rest and renewal. Rest is portrayed as a weakness, which reinforces burnout and prevents us from living fully. I had to really reframe laziness for my own self, right? I'm like, because I heard it too, right? You be sitting down when you were a kid, and you got your feet up, maybe you're reading a book. I was like into VC Andrews, like I'm around 11, 12 years old, reading my book, and it's like, get your lazy ass up and go do something. It's like, I, I'm lazing about. To laze about is to meander, to move slowly without any rush. So yeah, I had to really reclaim, right, that reclamation, the word lazy. I am lazy. I laze about as often as possible, right? Because why am I rushing? Then, when you think about it and you're doing the work of decolonization, our children have full on work days if they are in school. Even if you homeschool and you're doing it underneath the same hours, that's a full time job, right? My kids get up and hustle and bustle to get to school by 8:15, 8:20 the latest, and then they're not getting home until like 3:30, and we live around the corner. So we're not talking about a commute. Our school is quite literally around the corner, let alone the children that have to get up and commute, go to a before school program and after school program to accommodate parents and caregivers' work schedule. Those babies are working. That's a job. I'm like, my 5 year old has a full on job, full on. And if you respect it like that, that's why we don't do homework in this house. They come home, they take off their uniforms, and they get really lazy, super lazy. They don't do anything else. The alarm goes off at 6:30. Alexa lets us know time to reset the house. At 6:30, we're up, cat litter, put the laundry into the washing machine, whatever needs to be done to get our home reset for the next day. After that, hygiene, yada, yada, yada. And we're usually in bed, especially in the winter, by 8 o'clock. Like, which is what's wilder to me is there are people that are not even getting home until those hours daily. Absurd, violent, egregious. Find a word. That is supremacy culture telling you that if you take rest from that busy ass work schedule, because everything that we do in supremacy culture is work. It is tied to you being the capital and you producing something for the benefit of another. That is basically what this is. And it'll tell you you're lazy. So I want you to rethink that because you have the right to say no. I'm not doing anything. I'm not cleaning. Remember the other day, I left that pile of clothes that sat there for like 2 days. Like I wasn't invested. I didn't want to. I just didn't want to. They didn't want to. And it wasn't a hygiene issue, right? It was more of a mess issue. I'm big on hygiene. Like that's like, no, we're not going to leave like dishes and things like that around because that's a hygiene issue. You don't want bugs. But like clean clothes or what have you, hey man, we could catch that another day. It's not that big of a deal, right? Two, rest as resistance and reclamation. Rest disrupts the cycle of exploitation by reclaiming the right to simply be. Liberation is impossible if we don't reclaim time to heal, reflect, and restore. How are you out here and you're going to save the world and you can't save yourself 5 minutes of the day? I'm listening. Huh? Oh, yeah, no. Because if you've been on your anti-racist journey, which is most likely why you're here, it probably started somewhere in 2020 on average. That's just like when white people woke up to racism in the world because bored in the house, COVID, and it's there and it's something to do. That's the reality, right? So you're already exhausted, tired, burned out, feeling it. Because of that, you took that same supremacist culture mindset, that same colonizers mindset to activism. You colonized advocacy. Think about that. Sit with that for a second. Meanwhile, people have been doing this work for hundreds of years. Some of us come from lineages that have been doing it for thousands of years. But you woke up 4 years ago and you were going to colonize the fuck out of advocacy and activism. It's a wild concept, but this is the point of decolonization is because you cannot apply a different mindset. It's a mindset shift. If this is the only mindset you've ever known, if you have been here in these lands since the 1600s and all you know is a colonizer's way of being, existing, and showing up, that's what you're going to do, right? If you are a hammer, everything you see is a nail. Everything needs to be bung in because it's your nature. It's what you do. So when you are doing this work and you're actively working on liberation work and anti-oppression and decolonization, you are going to learn a different mindset and way of being. You're going to learn that rest is necessary, right? It's not even a luxury. You'll get to the point where you reckon it's a necessity. It's a must. If I do not get a day to me, to just center me, I hate everybody. I hate everybody. I hate everybody. I hate waking up to being a mom. I hate waking up to being an educator. I hate waking up to be a human. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I resent everything that's happening in the world, in my immediate space and all, because I need space for me. Me. And I offer that. When you do that for yourself, you want that for other people. Because I do that for myself, I offer it to my children. I have one kid who's 12 years old who's homeschooled. They're sleeping because that's just their schedule. So they get their homeschooling in the evening because that's what works for them. We also discussed that that's probably not realistic if they're going to step out into the world and not this little bubble that we created. But I am raising them in a way that's like, I'm like, we should never leave this land, this little quarter acre that we have here. Unless we can go and get bigger and offer space for more people to live, just know that you're probably going to live in the backyard. Okay. Like, focus on a tiny house, how you want to design it, and that's it. And what you want to give the world as your gift to it. And that's the focus. That's all we got. Taylor says, oh, it disappeared. It has been wild to find my worth without being productive the way I was raised. It is. It is a complete and utter mind blowing experience, right? Because our output tells us what we can have for our input. Isn't that weird? Right? Like, oh, you have to earn just the language that we use, right? I used to do a class on just like how English, think about the fact that we speak English, that is a colonizer's language. English in and of itself, when we speak it, right, we are speaking spells, we're speaking manifestation, we're calling things in, and we speak a language of colonization. All of us, unless we are trying to be mindful about how we are speaking, it just comes with ease. Oh, you got to get up and earn a living. Earn a living. I live. I exist. So I am already living. I don't need to earn that because I'm already doing that. Me sitting here just breathing, being brought into this world is me living. I don't need to earn anything further. I'm already doing it. I already exist. I can just be. And then when you think about how we are taught to earn our food, to earn our shelter, to earn our clothes, we are quite literally working for our very bare necessities. ADHD moment. I'm singing bare necessities in my head. Did you guys ever see that? It's the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. But anyway, I'll sing that for the rest of the day. We should not be doing that. We should not be doing that. It is, again, it's violent. I really want us to reshape and reframe violence. It is violent because not only is it violent just to think that we have to do something to earn something, it is violent because those who cannot apparently then don't deserve it. Every homeless person you see, we are essentially saying they don't deserve. They deserve to be where they are. They didn't earn a living, right? They didn't work hard enough. They didn't go to school long enough, I guess. Oh, they weren't strong enough to not be addicted. They didn't push through. You can't bootstrap healing either. Like, bootstrapping in and of itself is a lie. And it all plays into the ails that we see in the world, right? It is that when we recognize all of the interconnecting webs, right? Doing these 100 days of community, you start realizing how systems overlap and impact every single thing else. So if we believe that we cannot rest, we're angry when we see someone in the middle of the day, right? When you get a Karen who's pissed off that a black guy is bird watching at 11 o'clock in the morning, she's angry. You know why? Because maybe Karen feels she's earned her position. For whatever reason, whatever she's done, she's earned her right to meander in Central Park at 11 o'clock in the morning. But you, sir, have not. Get your lazy ass up. What are you doing? You couldn't possibly be here. You haven't earned enough, right? So here comes your unconscious bias. Here comes your racism. Here comes all of it showing up in this very moment. And all this man wanted to do was rest and watch some birds. But if we afford ourselves when we're doing all the dismantling and all the decolonization, if we remove those thought patterns, if we start thinking something new, because the thoughts are going to come up. Do not blame yourself. The thoughts are going to come up. They're there. Question them. Back to getting curious. Why did you think that? Why did you think when you saw me and three children out at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Monday that I was poor and indigent on welfare and you should call CPS because my children are not in school? Instead of thinking maybe I can afford the lifestyle of having my children homeschooled and we're taking a nature walk and that's part of our science class. Why? And you'll question those things and you'll begin to do that work. And rest affords us the ability to question things instead of just going along. When we are just so exhausted, we just go with the program, right? It's that lizard brain thinking. We immediately roll with the program that has been handed to us, that has been given to us, that oppresses every single one of us. So, when we look at rest as a reclamation and resistance, you hopefully with that example you see, right? I'm resisting the programming, I'm resisting the framing that they're giving me, and I'm reclaiming my time, I'm reclaiming my humanity because I can just exist, right? And that is deep self-care for me, right? Cleaning my truck was self-care because every time I got into it, that's what I felt. Like, oh my fucking God, I hate this truck. Like, oh my God. And then it's like, oh my God, these kids don't respect anything. This is and I don't, and that's not true. We're just running around and you're eating something and you leave it in there. But if I cannot rest to reframe all of that, like, you know what? Damn, this was a really busy week. They had practice this week. They're just shifting back into baseball season. We had cheer this week. God, we're just going back to school again after all of that time off because of the snow. But because I get to rest, I could think that so I could reframe it and I'm not resentful of them or my truck being dirty. It's just an inevitable part of a busy week. Clean it. It's self care. I'm going to get in. It's gonna look good and smell good. And I love it. And we can restart next week, getting ready to fuck it up. Three, creating community spaces for rest. Collective rest is powerful. When we create spaces for rest within community settings, we model liberation and show that rest is a shared value, not a privilege. Again, my friends come over and sometimes we just lay in the bed, right? We don't do anything. God, I saw something. Ah, I don't remember where it's about. I'm about to Google it. I saw a video where they were like, there is a word for this in the Caribbean. Liming is a Caribbean slang term that means to hang out, relax, or party with friends in public or private. And it can involve eating, drinking, dancing, and storytelling. But to lime about is to do nothing, right? And when I heard this guy saying that, I was like, I fucking love that. And what I love more about that is like, I think that hood culture really just does not get enough respect, right? Because like I'm from the South Bronx, and like I'm gonna say that every single time you come across me, I'm from the Bronx. Okay. If you did not know, I'm Irish and I'm from the Bronx. Two facts you will always know and will always win if there is a trivia game about me in life. But like we would say, oh, I'm lamping or I'm lounging. And that was it. Like, what you doing today? Nothing. I'm just chilling. I'm lounging. I'm lamping. That was it. That's it. We had no plans, right? None. Zip zilch because we were fucking tired. When you are poor and you are living in the hood, you are just hustling all the time. Every day is a hustle to get to work, a hustle to get to school, a hustle to live, to exist. To survive, whether it's just to get from the train station to the bus on time, to make sure that you got to school on time, and it took two buses. And this, I'm not doing shit. I'm lounging. It means we were going to sit on the stoop. Maybe we would crack a 40, maybe smoke a blunt. I don't know what. We were doing nothing, though. It was the nothing. And I love it. And that's what we call it in my house. It's the nothing. What are we doing? The nothing. We are doing the nothing. You are more than welcome to come over and do nothing with me. And I love when my friends come over and do nothing. And they bring their friend, their kids, and sometimes they bring other friends, and we do nothing together. Maybe we order some food. Maybe we play on our phones, but we do nothing together. And that is so beautiful. And it affirms another person's right, their sovereign right to simply exist. Right? We don't need a fucking curated play date. We don't need, we don't need a lesson to hang out. We don't need anything. I just need you to come here and exist. Just exist with me. Just coexist, co create this joy of nothingness with me, right? And I want you guys to think about that when there's a book club or some fucking anti racism thing that's dragging you to do that. That's great. Do that work. Do that work. But the same way you're committed, I have a message thread in Facebook as well as on Substack. But in the Facebook group, I put one for like, people that are in there. And I have like the 10-day unpacking challenge. And so there's one that's there. And I'm like watching like before the new year came in, and it was like they were doing the 10-day unpacking challenge. They were doing some other thing I was offering. They were trying to join the surge meeting. And I was like, I really hope that you give this much dedication to also resting. Right? It's like it's okay to do nothing. Beautiful that you're on your anti-racism journey. Love that. Love that for me. Very specifically, love that for my children. Right? Love that you're into anti-oppression and you want to learn more about liberation. You want to do decolonization work. I want you to be just as dedicated to rest. If you got 3 days of anti-racism, I need a day of rest. I need it. I need it for you. I need it for me, right? I need you to do that for me. If you can't do it for yourself yet, if you can't allow yourself the permission to rest, right? I need you to do it for me. I need you to do it because Des says if I don't rest, I'm not helping her. I don't know. Like, I don't want to use guilt and shame. I'm just busting your balls. But literally, I want you to dedicate just as much time to rest, to joy, to existing, right? Because what it will do is it's going to deepen your anti racism journey. It will deepen your anti oppression journey. It's going to deepen your decolonization journey because you're going to question it. You're not going to do it just because I told you to, which very much happens very specifically with white women because you are already trained, you are primed and ready for somebody to tell you to shut up and do something, and you'll do it, right? Because that's what patriarchy trains you for. That's the programming. Shut up. Listen to the more powerful person in the room and be quiet. Usually that's your men, and they're running the show, right? But if you rest, you get to question, why am I doing this? Why? How is it beneficial for me? What am I also gaining and learning in anti racism, in decolonization, in liberation work? What am I learning about myself? What am I learning about my own ancestors? What am I learning about my people? What am I learning about my journey? You will question and you will restore yourself. You'll restore your faith in yourself, right? Because if you're coming into this, you want immediate results and you're going to soon find out, or you have found out, it's not like that. It's not like that. There is no immediate results in activism. There's there's no immediate results. We're watching that unfold, right? Like I did all the things I could. I showed up. I've handed out the pamphlets. I was in the call banks. I tried to convince people, and Kamala still is not president. Yeah, most of us knew that was going to happen anyway because we know the cycle. We understand it. And if you can lean into natural cycles, you will pay attention to other cycles that are happening, other patterns that are happening around you to know that that is just the way it is. That is it. That is the way it is. And so when you create those community spaces for activism, make sure they have some rest built in, right? If you've joined, if you've gathered, if you've gotten all your pamphlets together, you gotten all, your book reports in or whatever it is you're doing in those spaces, 10 minutes. I'm not saying, like, because it's not always easy. I recognize that we are all suffering and navigating capitalism. And I have a lot of time privilege, right? So this is not me forgetting what it's like to not. This is me saying that if you have a 50-minute meeting, prioritize 10 minutes of community resting. If you have a 30-minute meeting, 5 minutes to just breathing, just sitting, just sighing, just doing nothing together. And there's going to be a shift in that community space that's going to surpass every bit of activism that you've done. When you guys just allow yourselves a moment collectively to just be, can we just sit? I don't even know if I want to talk. I just know I want to sit collectively. I just want to sit and be witnessed. Some of us don't like to be perceived all the time. And in activism work, you're going to be perceived, right? But can we sit together and not perceive each other? Who's the best activist? Who's the most active? Who's the advocate? Who's doing the greatest work? Who has the most impact? Man, shut up. Let's just be quiet. Can we just sit? That is such an act of resistance, such a reclamation, such a community healing power. Just be. So that is my takeaway for today. And let me see. Laura says, my teenagers get mad at me when I try to rest. I need a break. I was going to ask Emma to take an Uber to work. She's going to complain. And she's entitled to complain. It's frustrating because she's working hard and her money is going somewhere else. And it's also okay to turn around and say, okay, well, I'm going to take you to work and then come back and rest, right? Because we still have to do the things that we have to do. I still have to take my kids to school, right? Today's my rest day. I still have to take my kids to school. Kieran is standing right here. He's suspended for the day. So, like, I still have things to do, right? Like, I'm sorry. I apologize. I should have asked your permission to share that. No, it's not okay. I appreciate you forgiving me. Kieran is home for the day. So I still have responsibilities here. You know what I'm saying?
Me too. I have to help mama. I have to help mama fix the bed.
Right. So, we still have our
And I have to still do the laundry.
Right. So what we call it around here is responsibility before fun. Right? Good job.
You have to do your responsibility, get your chores done, and then you get to have your device or whatever.
Right. Because that's just real life. Responsibility before fun. Rest for me.
Some people don't do that.
No, some people don't.
Some people just do fun and then responsibility.
Right. And then
okay. Or they just don't do responsibility.
Sorry about the kitty boo. So
or some people don't even do responsibility or have fun on their device at all.
This is true too. That's tea is not warm anymore. But again, we're at the top, and I really do want to respect people's time boundaries. So as a recap, supremacy culture frames rest as laziness. Get that out your mind. You are not lazy, or reframe lazy as I have, but I've reclaimed it. Yes, I laze about. I move slowly and with purpose to just chill. Rest as resistance and reclamation. Oh, thank you. Kieran brought me Oreos.
Because I'm her son.
And creating community spaces for rest. Gather yourself, your friend around. Gather some friends and do nothing. At your next activist meeting, group, gathering, in your breakdown of your time, make sure, please, for me, for all of us, for humanity, factor in 10 minutes of nothing. What are you doing? Nothing. And we could just look at each other and do nothing, drink water, just reset, right? There's a power in that co-regulation, right? That is co-regulating. We're all sitting down, resetting our nervous system in community. And that is something that we're supposed to be doing, right? We sleep so good in our house when we all sleep in the same room, right? So, like, I got 3 kids, and my nephew that I'm fostering. I have a king size bed, but I have hammocks in my room for sensory issues. and relaxation. So my elder one that's home, the 12-year-old, will sleep in the hammock, and the other kids will just lay. We sleep like a log. You know why? Because co-sleeping is co-regulation. Isn't he adorable? I want to bite him. I'm gonna bite you. Anyway, Lisa said, "Good morning, Desiree, Kitty, and baby. So happy to see you. Happy to be seen. And Lisa, I just love you. Thank you for showing up. All right, I'm gonna get off of here. There will be a replay of this so you can listen to it again. Same deal as everywhere, you know. And then I'm gonna go get my nails did because I like to be cute. And do nothing. Me, Law and Order, Benson and Stapler. Well, I'm waiting on Stapler
Mama,
to come back
you?
on organized
Can
crime.
people follow
But
you?
anyway, that's ADHD
Mama,
off.
people follow you on TikTok?
People do follow me on TikTok. This is not TikTok though. This is Substack. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for showing up. Please, 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 please take some rest. Take some rest. Find it. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute. I want you,
0
you know what?
seconds.
Practice that. Practice 60 seconds of nothing. You'll find how difficult it is. It's so dysregulating to the body. I used to do 60 seconds of silence, right? On our unpacking meetings. And they would be like, it's so awkward. And now I could literally sit 60 minutes like I need it in silence. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.